to a new video. My name is Clarissa, and if we haven't met before, I am your college planning trail guide, and I'm so glad that you're here today. All right, so while college is usually known for being one of the best parts of a person's life, the college application and planning process is notorious for being extremely stressful and overwhelming. The stakes are high, it's a very analytical process, and yet emotions run deep, and there's just so much to it, it's hard to know where to even begin. And so that is why I am here to help you today. So today we're gonna go over the 5 must-haves for your college planning and application season. So if you're in high school and you're thinking about college, or you're in college and you're thinking about transferring schools, or if you're a parent and you're hoping to help your son or daughter as they plan for college, this video is for you. So without further ado, let's jump into it. The first must-have for this season is a planner or a calendar. So it can be a tangible one, like the one I have right here. I love to see things written down. I love taking pen to paper and actually getting to jot down notes and record information that way. If you are not like that and you're more tech savvy and you like to have everything on your electronics, that's perfectly fine too. You can get a calendar online or an app or something on your phone, iPad, computer, whatever it may be that works for you. It doesn't matter so much which option you use, it's just important that you have one of those in general. You need a planner or a calendar. This college application season is filled with so many different deadlines and due dates and important things to know, and it's easy to just forget about it if you don't have it recorded somewhere. You've got a lot going on in your life, I'm sure, so it's important that you write these things down so that you don't forget them or miss them. This is especially important if you are applying to more than one school, because if you are, then it's easy to get things kind of confused and get them jumbled up if you don't record them. So it's especially important for that. A little trick is I actually recommend giving yourself a deadline that's a few days ahead of the real deadline, just as a little personal motivation to make sure that you get things done faster. So let's use November 1st as an example. That is a common application deadline. So if your application is due by November 1st, I recommend putting October 25th as your own personal application deadline in your calendar. That's just an example because it's about a week before that deadline. So it ensures that you have that reminder to make sure you get everything in and just make sure that you're ahead of the game when it comes to deadlines. And then a little tip, if you are going with the electronic option specifically, is to find a way to set up notifications within that app or within that calendar, whatever it may be. Because then if you get a little push notification or an email sent to you at the time of that deadline, then it'll just be a little extra way for you to be reminded of that important information. The reason why having a planner or a calendar is so vitally important and is considered a must-have for the season is because you are entering into the adult world where there are consequences for not meeting deadlines. So if you don't meet a particular deadline, then you may miss out on a scholarship opportunity, or your application may be canceled, or you may not have the opportunity to live on campus if you want to, if you don't meet particular deadlines. So it is super important to stay organized and be responsible by having everything organized in a planner or in a calendar. I have recommendations for tools for organization and planners like that for both tangible ones like the one I showed you earlier, or for electronic options, so I'll be sure to put those in the description below. The second must-have for the college planning season is a personal email address that is specifically for your college planning season. So the reason why is actually threefold. So 1, you want to come across as professional. 2, you want to have long-term access to this email. And 3, you want to make sure you don't miss any important emails. Sounding professional is important. I see a lot of students that apply with emails that are not necessarily bad, but they just sound a bit juvenile, like soccermonkey123@gmail.com or fashiondiva@hotmail.com. Those are not necessarily bad emails. They just don't exactly leave the best impression on the admissions staff that are seeing that. Now, it's not going to be a deal breaker about whether you're admitted or not, at least not at the schools I've worked at, but you just want to leave a good impression with the admissions staff members. So I recommend setting up a new email that is just simple, like first name, last name @Yahoo or Gmail. So example would be like clarissasmith@gmail.com or sarahdavis@yahoo.com, whatever it may be. Set up a very simple but professional sounding email for your college application process. Then regarding long-term access, you want to make sure you actually have access to this email for the full time that you're going to be looking into colleges and applying. So I see a lot of students that apply with their school email address that's been given to them by their high school. But the thing about this is the summer after you graduate high school, you're going to lose access to that. And yet the school that you end up choosing is still going to be sending you a lot of important information that summer before you transition into using your new college email. So you may lose out on some important information just because you lose access to that. So you want to be sure that you have an email address that you've created that you know you'll have long-term access to. And then the last reason this is important is because you want to make sure you don't miss out on important emails from the colleges that you're interested in. You don't want it to be going to your regular old email where you're also getting information about sports and spam and that great sale for Bath & Body Works or whatever it may be. You don't want to lose important college-related emails in the midst of everything else that you are getting to your normal email. So it's helpful to have this one specifically set up for the purpose of checking for college information. All right, the third must-have for the college planning season is a binder or a file folder. So similar to the first item, this can be either tangible or electronic. It doesn't matter which you choose. It's just important to have all of your college-related information in one specific and intentional place so that you have all the records in one spot, easily accessible for when you need it. So this can include your brochures from when you got information from them, acceptance letters, financial aid letters, business cards from your admissions counselor for that school, notes from your visit, any other information you think of. You want to have it all centralized. So if you choose the tangible option, an actual binder or kind of those accordion style file folders, then I recommend labeling it and putting it in a place that is easily accessible so you can get it when you need it. And then if you get most of your college information through downloads and PDFs, that's great. Maybe the electronic option would work better for you. So then in your computer or laptop, I recommend just creating a folder on the desktop where you put all the files for your information there. However you choose to do it, tangible or electronic, just make sure that you organize it in a way that works for you. You want this to be tailor-made for you as it is your personal college planning binder. And so perhaps for you, that's organizing it by college and each subfolder is a different school that you're interested in, or perhaps you organize it by subject and each subfolder is something like information, acceptance letters, financial aid, business cards, etc. However you do it, just make sure it works for you. The fourth must-have for this season is a recommendation letter, or two. Most colleges require or at least recommend that you submit a letter of recommendation with your application. Even if it's not required for the admissions process, it may be required for a specific academic program that you're interested in or for scholarship opportunities. So regardless, it's just helpful to have one or two ready to go. A couple quick guidelines that should apply to most schools that you're looking at. The first is that letters of recommendation can't be written from a family member. So if your mom or your dad is your biggest fan in the world, that is great, but they can't write your letter of recommendation for you. The second tip and guideline is that it's best to have one letter of recommendation at least from an academic reference. So one of your teachers who can vouch for your academic ability in the classroom. And then it's good to have another recommendation letter from someone who can speak more to your character, whether that's your guidance counselor at school, a coach, mentor, band director, pastor, whoever it may be, an older family friend even, just somebody who can speak to your character. Just as a little heads up, some colleges operate on the honor system when it comes to recommendation letters, and they will actually allow you as the applicant to send in a PDF or document of the letter that your teacher, counselor, whomever wrote for you on your behalf. And then other schools do not operate on the honor system, and they actually require that the recommender send their letter directly to the admissions office. So it's not a big deal, it's just something to be aware of, as you may need to ask your recommender to send the school their letter directly. And lastly, the fifth must-have is a plan. I know, it's so obvious, but it is drastically underused. And so having a plan as you go through this process will allow you to go through it with more joy, more excitement, more information, more acceptances, more scholarship opportunities, more information, just all those good things. It does not have to be a 45-step plan or a 10-year plan or even the same plan that your friends are using, but you just need to have a plan. It will allow you to go through this process process with so much intentionality and focus rather than just going through the college planning season aimlessly. The earlier you can begin developing this plan, the better. You want to have time to start thinking about what majors you're interested in, what you want in a school, and then you'll have time to begin researching what schools are out there that fit your interests and fit your major, and you'll begin to see, okay, what are their admissions requirements, what scholarship opportunities do they have, and all of those important pieces of information. And then you can develop a plan. Depending on when you start this, it could be a 3-year plan where in 10th grade you begin thinking about what schools you want, what majors, all that. And then 11th grade you begin visiting schools, you take the SAT and the ACT, you maybe take a couple of AP classes as college prep, and then in 12th grade you begin actually applying for those schools. Or that could be condensed down into 2 years if you begin thinking of college your junior year and you're beginning that process then. Whatever your timeline is, you want to begin by creating an overall plan and then filling in the details. Actually, if that's something that you're interested in and you want to know maybe like an ideal college plan for thinking about applications and all that good stuff, let me know, because that would be something that I think would be very interesting and hopefully helpful. So let me know if you're interested in that. But anyways, think about it. If you begin planning early enough, you can strategically plan which schools you want to go visit, especially if that involves out-of-state schools and traveling. You can plan specifically for when you can get good deals on tickets to go out there, when there's fun things going on in the community or at the school. So maybe you can even plan to go around homecoming or some event that they have that's special to them. And you can really just make the most of your process. And you can just go through this whole season with so much more joy and excitement, like I said, and a lot less stress and overwhelm. But with all that said, I just want to say, if there's any of you here and you're thinking, that's all great information, but I'm even more overwhelmed now because I see all the benefits of making a plan, but I did not do that and I am, behind the 8 ball and I'm doing this last minute. I just want to say, take a deep breath. It's okay, you've got this. That's why you're here today. You're learning about how to make a plan and you can start today. Just begin your plan, begin your research and your intentionality, and you've got this. Whew. Doesn't that feel good? Now you know you have the top 5 must-haves for the college planning season. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm in that sense of overwhelm and I don't know where to start, I just need somebody to tell me, hey, do these things, here's how you get the ball rolling. So now you get to take a deep breath. You know that, okay, I need to get a planner or a calendar. I need to set up a personal email address for school, and I need to get a binder or a file folder. I need to think of a couple of people to ask to write me a recommendation letter, and I need to sit down and make a plan. Doesn't that feel so good knowing that you have these next steps and you have these must-haves on your radar now? So I hope that was helpful. If you know somebody who's overwhelmed and who wants to get a college plan as well, please share this video with them. If there's any questions that you have or there's anything else that you would like to cover on this channel, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to find more and more ways to just help and serve you through this process. Trust me, I know the college admissions process can be scary and overwhelming as you begin it or as you're in the midst of it. So that's why I'm just so grateful that you took the time to be here with me today. And I'm grateful to be your trail guide as you go through this wonderful and exciting journey. Until next time, be well, and I'll see you in the next video.